I'd like to show you how I created my swarm traps. These work pretty well, and they've got a hanger here, hang off a tree, galvanized piece on the roof, frames inside, an entrance down below. You know what, heck, I'll just show you. So when I started looking for swarm trap designs, I found these on the internet, and I really liked the way they were put together. Now this here is a breakdown of a 4x8 sheet of plywood and how you can get 3 different swarm traps out of that. And right here, this tells you each piece, the quantity, what piece it is, the length and the width of each piece. So you can go back and pause for that. I used a 1/4 inch plywood for my swarm traps, and I glued every seam before I did anything else. I wanted to make sure that they were pretty airtight and somewhat water resistant also. The bees aren't going to be staying in these long term. It's just to catch them if they swarm. Then I used a little this is called a brad nailer, and just put little thin nails in to hold them together with the glue, and that seemed to work pretty good. Now, one of the important things when it comes to making a swarm trap is to realize that sometimes a swarm can be very large. Sometimes a large hive will swarm and you'll get tons of bees going into a swarm trap. And so the swarm trap needs to be designed to accommodate that many bees. So as you can see in this trap here, the frame is up top there, but below it is a large section where bees can kind of hang down and have enough room. Now they're not going to live in there permanently. You just need to house them long enough to get them caught and then get them into a new hive. So I've always heard old timers say that bees prefer trees that have been struck by lightning. So by burning the inside of your swarm traps, it draws them in better. I don't know if that's true, but I did it anyway.
That one's still there. It's burning. Thank you. I'm starting to worry.
Now, whether or not this works or is just an old wise tale really doesn't matter. It was an extra step that wasn't hard to do, so why not? If it helps, it helps. If it don't, it don't. But I finally had about 8 of them made, and decided to put a little stain on them. Used a red cedar wood, I guess, stain, and just to try to help preserve them a little bit. And this here was pretty much the finished product. Used a galvanized material on the top there, and put a hanger on the back so you could hang it off a tree and secure it pretty well. And it's got the removable roof, and this ought to keep the water out. This stuff's kind of hard to work with if you don't have some way to bend it very well. I had to just do the best I could. It holds 5 frames, and my frames have a plastic foundation, which I cover with beeswax to help encourage the bees to accept it. But I always put at least one frame with already drawn out comb. It's older comb, and it's, bees just can smell that smell, and as soon as they go in there checking the place out, they'll realize, this used to have bees in it. Here's some drawn comb, So they're more willing to accept the box if they see something like that. Bees, whenever they're swarming, they'll pile in a tree like you saw earlier in this video, or pile on anything, and then they'll send out runners, and the runners will go around and look for a place to live. and they'll inspect the place, and when they find a place, they'll let the other bees know, and they'll all head that way. So this here is a way to close up the entrance. It has different slots. You can close it off completely, or you can just leave it open enough that the queen can't get out, but the rest of them can. Different uses for different situations. But if you're transporting it, you can close it completely up so that they can't get out of it. Works pretty good. And like I said, I made about 8 of them, and then I hung them out all over the place. Actually ended up catching a small swarm here in this location down by the creek. And one of the things you want to do is add an attractant, and a lot of people use lemongrass oil. But there's also a product called Swarm Commander, and that's what I use. It's basically a little spray bottle, and you just put a little spritz inside the entrance, and it works to lure the bees in. It mimics the smell that the bees put off to let the other bees know where to go. And here it is in action. Ended up catching a really nice swarm coming out of my hives at my house, and they pretty much filled this box right up. They went right in it, and ended up seeing the queen crawling around on the outside. Caught her in a queen clip and put her in the hive, and the bees just went right in. So that's it, guys. This is how the swarm trap works. Like I said, the rundown on how to make it, you can make 3 of them out of a sheet of plywood, is in the beginning of the video. You can pause it and look over that, or I will put a link in the description that will give you basically step-by-step directions on how to build this, and you can download the material yourself. All right, if you like this kind of stuff, then consider subscribing. A lot more coming, and thanks for watching.